Shalom, Facebook, YouTube, and hopefully Instagram. Because my last few videos I haven't been able to post on Instagram because they've been too long. Like, you know what I'm saying? My last live I did, it was almost 2 hours, man. I didn't intend for it to go on that long, but the engagement was awesome, just talking to people and them sharing what they wanted to share was very good. So I'm grateful, you know what I mean? So I'm just on here real quick, hopefully real quick. Um, as you see by the title, um, they've been saying Jesus was coming back since the 80s. Actually, for years, because even, you know, yeah, for years. And that's this, and I titled it that because it was inspired by the conversation that I was having with a friend of mine at the beginning of the week. And and it's true. I remember as a child how when I was a kid I was hearing my great grandmother say, my mom say, people in the elders in the church saying, "Oh, Jesus is getting ready to come back soon." Now, as you guys know, I don't no longer call him Jesus anymore, based off of me studying, doing research, and coming to the truth. I know that there was no J, there was no E in the ancient Hebrew language, so I don't refer to him as Jesus. But for the sake of this video, I'm saying Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But um, I call him Yahweh Shai. So, but for the sake of this, I'm gonna say. But anyway, me and my friend was having a conversation, and he said that. And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, it's true. People have been saying that Jesus was coming back since the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the 80s, so that's all I hear growing up. Like, oh man, we in the last days, and this, that, and the other. But as I think about it now, as I think about it, it's like, wait a minute. Yahweh Shai, who the world called Jesus, Yahweh Shai wasn't going to come back in the 80s. And why do I say that? Because I'm going to read, that wasn't true then. When they were saying that he could come back any day now, back in the 80s and all that, that was not true. Why do I say that wasn't true? Well, I'm going to read this verse. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. That's Genesis chapter 15, 13 through 14. Um, Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4. So in Genesis, Abraham had a nightmare, about us being scattered to the four corners of the earth. Now, once you understand the Bible and how who the people are in the Bible, you understand how to read the Bible properly, and not through how we've been taught, but how to properly read the Bible. You will see the Most High knew the beginning from the end. He knew he knew the end from the beginning. My bad. He knew the begin. He knew the end from the beginning. So in Genesis, it talks about how we're scattered. We're scattered. The Israelites are scattered to the four corners of the earth. So whether you're in Turkey, whether you're in Russia, whether you're in China, whether you in South America, you in the islands, whatever, we've been scattered all over the place. They call us Afro Brazil, Afro Mexican, Afro this, Afro that. Those are the Israelites, right? So we've been scattered. So the Bible says that we uh we were going to be in the land of our captivity for 400 years. 400 years started 1619, when the slave ship first touched down to wherever it touched down at, all the way to 2019. So the 2019 is the end of the 400 mark. So there was no way that the Most High or Yahweh Shai was going to come back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it also said in Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4, that the son of perdition has to be revealed, right? Yes, there is a great falling away from the church now. We see that. But the son of perdition has not been revealed. So there is no way that Yahweh Shai, who the world called Jesus, would have came back in the 80s, because we're yet to see the son of perdition, right? And so that, with them saying that back then, um, it calls for people to make a mockery of Yahweh Shai, again, who the world called Jesus, Yahweh Shai coming back. Because it's like, y'all been saying this for years and years and years, and he still has not come. You know what I mean? But as you study the scriptures and all of that, mind you, I got notes and scriptures right here too, you know? But as you study the scriptures and really read and study, you understand, like, wait a minute, he was not coming back in the 80s. He was not coming back in the 80s because the 400 year mark hadn't ended, and, you know, the son of perdition has not been revealed. So we're in the times where it's like, man, the world is in such chaos, you know? And yeah, I'm looking over my notes. Yeah, the world right now is in such chaos, and so much chaos that the news don't even talk about everything that's going on, you know? They put all these distractions, you know what I'm saying? Right now, the big buzz right now, besides, uh, man, it's like two, it's a lot of big buzzes. Diddy went down, and the people, the higher ups that's above him, they worried about them being caught up into all that crap. So you got the buzz around that. You got the buzz around the Kamala and Trump, you know, presidential stuff. You got the hype right now. Then now they just try to, you know, kill him again. So there's a buzz around that. You know, they got all these different distractions going on, but they're not really telling you what's really going on in this world, man. Like, they just want you to stay distracted. So it seems like they want you to be off guard. You know what I mean? But the Bible say watch and pray. You know, and it's really time for people to really pay attention and come up out of deception. You know, and it's crazy because they're so busy. What's the Second Amendment? Freedom of speech, right? There's no longer freedom of speech. There's no longer freedom of speech because they got this cancel culture. They got you, if you say anything that's out of pocket, you know what I'm saying, they'll deplatform you, all kind of stuff that they do to you for you to not say certain things, you know what I mean? And specifically when it comes to the truth. They don't want people speaking the truth about who we are, who they are, what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want you to even mention anything about what's going on in this, you know what I'm saying? What's really, really going on. They want to keep you dummy down, you know? And the more they try, it's like in these times right now, the more they try to suppress the truth, the more that it bursts out the seams. The more they try to suppress it, the more it's bursting out the seams. Like, they can't stop the truth from coming out. You know what I mean? And that's why I know one day they're going to get rid of all this social media, all this stuff. It ain't going to be none of this no more. You know what I mean? Like, you really going to be on your own, you know? And I'm going to read, let me see. I'm going to read this verse. Huh. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. So, with all, well, right now we in the part of the judgment. Okay, the 400 years ended 2019. Yes, we still in the land of our captivity. They're not trying to let us go. First of all, you already know they ain't trying to give us no reparations because they, they got all these excuses as to why, and they want us to just get over it and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? But um, this whole world is getting judged. It's in the we're in the judgment aspect of it. It's time to start preparing yourself for what's to come, man. Like, get bug out bag ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, I'm in the process of getting my stuff together. You know what I mean? Bug out bag, tents, whatever you need to put in your bug out bag. You know what I mean? It's like I've been having this eerie, and me and some other people have been talking about this eerie, gut wrenching feeling of what's headed. You know what I mean? And I can vividly see the destruction, and I also can feel the emotions of people when everything hit the fan. You know what I mean? And it almost makes me feel sick to my stomach. You know what I mean? And it's like we really need to pay attention. You know, the Bible say, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Joel 2:28 through 29. Like, so we're living, and don't, please don't be mistaken for false prophets and all that, because they out here too in abundance. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important in these times that we gotta have discernment of spirits. You gotta discern the spirit, because not every spirit is of the Most High Yah. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, counterfeits that's walking around pretending to be angel of light. You know what I mean? You have to get prepared, man. Really study the scriptures about what's to come. And I think I've read this scripture before, but I'm gonna read it again. It's in Second Esdras chapter 15 verses 14 through 19, right? And I really suggest people to really read the Apocrypha. Get the Apocrypha. Like, if you have U version, if you have U version on your phone, the app, you can get the Apocrypha on that. You know what I mean? You can also, if you got an iPhone, you can also download the Apocrypha, the KJ, the KJV Apocrypha. You can also download that. But reading Second Ezra chapter 15 verses 14 through 19 is very interesting because it's talking about what happens when the tribulation hit, how it's going to be. So I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So that's talking about the great tribulation. You know what I mean? Like, when that time come, man, like, do you guys even think about when that time hit, when the whole world is in complete chaos? You ain't gonna be able to call the police. You're not gonna be able to call the ambulance. You're not gonna be able to call the fire department. You're not gonna be able to call nobody because you're really gonna be on your own. It's gonna be like a every man for themselves type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be pure chaos when the great tribulation hit. And that's why I know, according to the scripture, when you read the Bible, you are when the armies is surrounding Jerusalem. In Luke 21 it says, know that as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and read it. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Luke 21:34 through 36. But also in that chapter, some verses up, it talks about when um, Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. Note that the abomination of desolation is nigh. That is the time that we're supposed to get up out of Dodge, go up into the mountains, stay in the mountains. You know what I mean? If you guys watch Truth Unedited, he's talking about bugging in. You know what I mean? So there is going to be some people that's still going to be in the city when that chaos hits. Also going to be some people that's going to run into the mountains and be living out there. You know what I mean? And again, man, I don't know why the Most High got me. Well, he's trying to reach whoever he's trying to reach, you know. But we're living in some really serious times, and all these distractions that they throw on one after another should be a major red flag. Should be a major red flag because if you think about it, um, it's funny because they got construction everywhere, right? And in California for sure, I know that. And I think when I be in Arizona, I'll be seeing they got construction going on out there too. But it's construction everywhere you go, right? They building up all these luxury apartments. They building up all this stuff, right? To make it seem like, oh, everything's normal. You know, it's normal. You know, life is normal. But it's really not. Like I be looking at these buildings when I be seeing them working on these buildings. Like, man, this stuff ain't gonna last that long because it's gonna get destroyed. That's what I see and I feel in my spirit. You know what I mean? And it's like you think about the U.S. The U.S. has been the standard for a very, very long time. And what I mean by the standard, everybody from other countries, well, most people from other countries want to get over here. Oh, this is the land of opportunity. You're free here. Blah 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 blah. That's what people think. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for a long time, it was that way. It was the moral standard and all that. You know, the United States was the standard, right? But we're living in times to where the U.S. has enemies, man. Like Putin. Putin. What Putin just say recently? I don't know if y'all seen this or not, but Putin said, "Y'all go ahead and send them missiles over here. Send them missiles to Russia and watch what's gonna happen." He Putin is not playing. He not playing. The president in China, they all getting together to come against the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Like the U.S. got enemies that they're not talking about it on the news. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to really like dig and watch news from other sources. You know what I'm saying? Because the media on TV, they're not gonna report on that kind of stuff. You know, they just tell you whatever they want to tell you, so you could be stuck on stupid. You know. But again, like I was saying in my last live, watch the news based off of biblical prophecy. Watch it based off of that, so you could be aware. You know, and it was this guy. I was watching this video. Excuse me, y'all. My allergies, man. My nose is always bothering me. So excuse me for messing with my nose. But anyway, I was watching this guy, this European guy, right? He said he had a message for the elites. He had a message that God told him to give to the elites. And the message was this. He told them, y'all got all these bunkers and all of this stuff. He said, God told me to tell y'all not gonna even make it to y'all bunkers because the judgment, whatever's coming to here, is gonna happen so quick, and catch people off guard that you're not gonna even have time to get to your bunkers. You're gonna be destroyed. And when he was saying that, it was like chills going over my body because of not only what the scriptures are saying, because it's saying that it's Babylon will fall and it's gonna happen quick. For when they shall say, we read this again. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. I'll read this verse again in Luke 21. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Luke 21:34 through 36. Right? The Bible says it's going to happen. It's going to happen quick. That's why you got to be watchful. You got to be prepared. You got to be mentally, physically, spiritually prepared for when it's time to get up out of Dodge, because it's so much stuff happening. The World War III is knocking at the door. It's like close like that, you know. And I just want to appeal. I'm gonna segue a little bit, and I want to reach out to the people that used to go to church, but they no longer don't. They no longer don't go to church. They pretty much became agnostic. I want to holler at y'all. I want to holler at y'all for a little bit, because I understand. I completely understand the people that used to go to church and it's like, man, I'm cool on church. I completely understand. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I grew up in church. I grew up with church hurt. Every church that I ever attended, I've experienced church hurt except for two. The last Sunday church I was going to was a Baptist church. And that was the first church that really, the first church, I'm speaking Sunday church, the first church that really embraced me and accepted me for who I was. Even my testimony, my past, they knew about that. You know what I mean? Because one thing about me, I'm an open book and I'm gonna share my story. You know what I mean? I always knew that the Most High was gonna use me to share my story. You know, and it was gonna help people. You know what I'm saying? So I always knew that, and but the people in these churches, I'm talking Sunday church, right? Really, the church is the people. It's not really the building; it's the people. But for the sake of church hurt, we're gonna talk about the building. Some of the most nastiest, evilest, meanest people go to church every Sunday. They your deacons, they your deaconess, they on the usher board, they the church mothers, they whoever, right, in the church. You know what I'm saying? They can be the most wickedest people that you can ever encounter, you know? And yes, it turned people off and make people, hey, I don't never want to go to church again, you know? And for me growing up in church, I dealt with favoritism, right? So it was always the same group of girls that can do things that I couldn't, that they wouldn't allow me to do. For example, like I do sign language to music. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. And how I learned it was my friend at the time, she was going to this private school, and she learned a song. They taught her a song in sign language at the school that she was going to. So when she came to church, she showed us a song. She uh a song. The first song I ever learned on was how to do was "The Battle Is Not Yours." It's the Lord's by Yolanda Adams. So she taught us the song, and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my goodness, I love doing this and stuff like that. So I begged my mom to buy me a sign language book. So she bought me a sign language. She finally got me a sign language book, and I started learning songs on my own. So that's how I started off. That's how I learned to do sign language to music. And then after that, I got my own book and I started learning songs that I like to do. So that's how I started off, doing sign language to music or whatever. And it was only like the same people that could do like the lead and could do same people that can do certain things. I was always excluded from that. You know what I mean? The only time I was able to, the only reason why I was able to sign when I was signing was because my friend at the time that taught us how to do it, she didn't want to do it anymore. And she was very, very, very good at it. She didn't want to do it anymore. And I loved it. So I was able to do it for like the youth, when we had youth Sunday, whatever, I was able to do it and stuff like that. So that's how I was able to do it. So it was like I was always like the second best. That's how I always felt in that church growing up. I felt second best, You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's not good enough to just use. You know, we gonna use everybody else, and if everybody else if everybody else failed, then we can use her. I always had that. So growing up, I always felt that and dealt with that. You know what I mean? And so that was one aspect of my church hurt. And then when I had walked away from the Bible, church, and all that stuff, I walked away for a long period of time. That's when I was running the muck in these streets, getting involved in all kind of stuff I shouldn't been getting involved in. You know what I mean? Running with gang members, smoking, popping pills. I was out there. You know what I mean? Like the Most High really changed my life around because I had low self esteem. Not even low self esteem. I had no self esteem, and I had trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. So I indulged in things that I should have never indulged in. You know what I mean? So that was what I went to. So when I turned away from that and I gave my life to Christ, even though I was like involved in Christianity, I changed my life around and stuff like that. So I started going. I learned about the Sabbath then. That was like 2009, 10. I learned about the real day of worship. So I started going to a 7-day Adventist church. And when I started going there, the people there was like, just like the Sadducees and the Pharisees in the Bible. You know what I mean? My mom had a hard time there because my mom wore she wore jewelry and she wore makeup, and they had a problem with at this church. They had a problem with women wearing makeup and wearing jewelry. They said that you couldn't wear that stuff. You know what I mean? So they kind of just looked down on me and my mom. You know what I mean? But again, I still felt the negativity there. You know what I mean? It was just like, bruh, like, and it kind of it turned me off. Then my mom found this other church that we was going to at the time. I'm not saying none of the names of these churches. Uh, another church I was going to at the time, they didn't have a church building, so they was having churches at different schools. So they was trying to trying to find a building and stuff like that, and they was having churches at different schools and stuff like that. So the guy there, the pastor there, he knew of I want to say he knew of my past, right? When I was in them streets heavy and doing y'all knows what. He knew of my past then, and he was very like that church was very full of like uppity people think that they're better than you, and it was very cliquish. If you wasn't part of their clique, then they just you know. So they treated me like like it was like they looked down upon me. You know what I mean? And I can feel that from them. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I mentioned it here. I think I mentioned this on TikTok, but I mentioned it. I mentioned one time that I was short on my rent. Went to the pastor for help. The pastor didn't, you know what I'm saying, told me, like, okay, well, hit me up the next day. Now, mind you, I was a faithful tither. Faithful. Whatever money that I got, I paid tithe. Didn't have a problem. I didn't skip a beat. You know what I mean? And then when I needed help, I went to the pastor and asked him, if he can help me out because I was short on my rent, like $800, I think I was. And he was like, okay, well, call me the next day and I'll see what I can do. And long story short, his wife, I texted his wife the next day, and she was like telling me like, all right, I need to go to the county building. Just basically blew me off. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what? Like they really made me feel like I was nothing. I was worth nothing. And I couldn't never come up to them because of my past. You know what I mean? So I'm saying all that to say is that I understand church hurt. I understand if you ever been, whomever, if you've been turned off by church because of the church people. I understand because I've been there. You know what I mean? But I want to read to you these verses. The Bible say, "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." Philippians 2:12. Don't let people uh distort your view of the Most High. Don't let people do it, because a lot of people that go to church are not of the Most High. A lot of people are used by the devil. A lot of people that go see churches are, you know what I'm saying? They operating They operating in what's the word I want to kind of say? Confusion and mess and all that kind of stuff, man. Don't, even though we're supposed to represent the Most High and the way that we live and all that stuff, but a lot of these people in these churches aren't doing that. It's important for you to know the Most High Yah for yourself. Don't depend on no other person to do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. You have to know the Bible. You have to know the Most High for yourself. Do I recommend anybody going to a Sunday church to know the Most High? Me personally, I would say no. Why do I say no? Because on Sunday morning church, first of all, that's the wrong day of worship. People will say, "Oh, you can worship the Most High on any day." Duh, we know that, right? But the Most High did set aside a day of rest. You know what I'm saying? Because He rested from making the earth, right? So there's a certain day that He set aside for us to rest in Him and worship Him and study His Word and all that stuff. And that's the Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, which is Saturday, right? You go to these Sunday churches, they're not. What I heard today, they are lawless Christians. Why are they lawless Christians? Because they're not worshiping on the Sabbath. They're celebrating these pagan holidays. They're not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. They're not following the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? They're not celebrating the biblical holy days, the high holy days. They celebrate pagan holidays. You know what I mean? Like it's so much world in the church that I wouldn't recommend nobody to go there. I recommend you reading the Bible for yourself, asking the Most High to open your understanding, asking the Holy Spirit to lead you into the truth, because He will. That's what He's here for, to lead you and to guide you into all truth. And you have to work. The Bible say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And the Bible also say this: and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? 1 Peter 4:18. The ones that's following, reading the Bible, following the law, statutes, and commandments, wearing the fringes, doing what we're supposed to be doing according to the scripture is concerned, we are scarcely going to make it into the kingdom, which means we're going to barely get there, barely get into there. So make no mistake that this walk is serious. This is a serious walk, you know. And yes, it's really hard. As many churches as it is on every street corner, especially in the hood, it's hard to find a good church. And these churches, these Sunday churches, aren't teaching people the truth. They're not teaching you how to study the scriptures correctly. They're not celebrating the holy days, and a lot of them is telling you that the Old Testament has been done away with, you know. And it's like, I understand the church hurt because I grew up in church hurt, and I understand. I've been through it. You know what I mean? But there comes a time where you have to be accountable for yourself. You, when you stand before the Most High, it's only going to be you, yourself, and you. It's not going to be you and some pastor or your mom or your dad or your uncle or your brother, whoever. It's going to be you and the Most High, and you have to give account for your life. You know what I mean? And you're not going to be able to blame anyone else as to why you made the choices that you made. You get what I'm saying? So it's important to take the time and really know the truth, really know the real history, who's who in the Bible. You get what I'm saying? Like I've said it many times that us so-called black people, I'm speaking because I stay in North America. I'm not in South America. I'm not in the islands, but the islands and all that. South America, we're scattered all over the world, right? But so-called black people and all that stuff is Israelites. We are the biblical Israelites. We are the seed descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are from them, right? The covenant was between us and the Most High Yah, you know? And I just wanted to get up on here and just say this little sweet little tidbit, and hope I'm about to get off pretty soon though. But don't be deceived by all these distractions. Really study the word. Get yourself right. Something is coming, and it's not going to be good. And you have to be ready. You have to be ready mentally, spiritually, and physically. The Bible say, watch and pray. Watch and pray. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've been saying Jesus is coming back since the 80s and probably further than that, further back than that. But I was born in the 80s, 81, right? So I've been hearing this since I was a child that he can come back any day now. But what I'm saying is that wasn't true then because of the verses that I read, Genesis 15, 13, and 14. And then um, 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4. The son of perdition has not been revealed yet, nor was the 400 years up then. We're talking back in the 80s. It wasn't up then. So the 400 years are up. We just waiting for the son of perdition to be revealed. He hasn't been revealed yet. You know what I mean? But when he be revealed, then you know that after that, the Son of Man is coming. You know, Yahweh Shai, who the world called Jesus, will be coming back after that. You know, after the Great Tribulation, he's coming. It says immediately after the Great Tribulation, he's coming back. You know, and during the tribulation, we are to, well, really before that even the tribulation hit, again. Oh, I hope you guys don't. I hope you guys can hear me with that music next door. But when read Luke 21, when the armies encompass Jerusalem, know that the abomination of desolation is nigh. Okay? So the abomination of desolation in the holy place, that's when we are to flee. When the armies is around Jerusalem, that's when we are to flee to the mountains and be up in the mountains away from all the chaos all the plagues that's going to hit this earth. We need to stay. We need to be in the mountains, so we won't be partakers of those plagues or whatever. So I just wanted to get on here and just say that, I was just, that conversation that I had with my friend. It was like, you know what? This is something that needs to be talked about, and I just wanted to get on here and talk about that really quick. And hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. I'm relaxing. Um, was hanging out with my mom for a little bit today. But yeah, I wanted to come on here and talk about that for a little bit and pay attention to what's really going on. Look outside the box. Stop looking in the box. Look outside the box, because there's stuff all around the box. You know what I'm saying? It's like so like this box. This box got, I haven't even opened it yet, but I got some glass like Tupperware kind of thing. Right? There's stuff in this box, right? Start looking outside the box. What's around this box? Because there's more stuff around the box that it is inside this box. And the U.S., man, got enemies, man. Putin said, "Go ahead and send them missiles over there to Russia, and watch what's going to happen." He ain't playing, because them buses already facing us anyway. You know what I mean? And the Bible already said it's gonna get destroyed anyway. It's gonna happen. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy this little live. And Matthew 22:14 says, "For many are called, few are chosen." Which do you want to just be called, or do you want to be chosen? The choice is yours. All right, you guys, be blessed.